온 국민이 딱 이만큼 영어하는 그날까지 딱이만큼 영어연구소 김영일 소장입니다. 자, 지금부터 아는 영어로 말하기 샘플 오디오 파일을 활용한 에코잉 훈련법을 알려드리겠습니다. 원어민 선생님들이 영어 아역말 샘플 지문을 읽어드릴 거예요. 듣자마자 들리는 대로 영어로 따라서 말을 해보도록 하겠습니다. 거의 원어민 선생님들과 흡사하게 따라서 말씀하실 수 있으시다면 발음과 발성이 당연히 좋아지겠죠? 자, 여러분 잘할 수 있으시죠? 힘내십시오. 오늘도 딱!
Day 36. Hi, my name is Young-hee Kim, and I'm 40 years old. I live in Jeomsil in Seoul, Korea. I have lived here for 3 years. I have been working for a small company for 6 years as a marketer. I got married last year, and I am happily married. I started learning English to communicate with my boss. My boss is from the States. I have to speak English for my job. One day, I went to Kyobo bookstore in Gangnam and found this book by chance. I'd like to complete the whole training course suggested in this book. Thank you. Day 37. My name is Young-hee Kim. I work in an office near Seoul City Hall Station. I work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. Usually, I work 5 days a week, and I don't go to work on weekends. I usually skip breakfast before work. Instead, I make sure to eat lunch. I eat with my colleagues near my office. We usually eat Korean food. I leave work at 6 o'clock. The first thing I do when I get home is exercise using a home workout video on YouTube. After that, I cook my dinner and eat. After dinner, I study English. I started it last month. After reading a book, I complete the activities and start practicing. I have friends who have been studying together. I speak English with a friend on the phone. There are many words that I don't know yet, but I try to memorize complicated words and practice a lot. I want to improve my English skills until I can have English conversations over 20 minutes long with foreigners. Day 38. Hello, my name is Will. I was born in 1985 in Busan, the second largest city in Korea. It takes about 3 hours from Seoul to Busan on the train. There are 5 people in my family, including me. I have an older brother, who is 8 years older than me, and I have a younger sister, who is 2 years younger than me. My mother gets up very early every morning. After she wakes up, she reads the news and prepares breakfast. My brother works at an office like me. He broke up with his girlfriend last year and has not met any other women since then. He said he has no plans to get married. On the other hand, my sister is already married. She had a baby recently, and both my sister and her baby are healthy. We're so pleased. We also have an adorable puppy. My aunt used to take care of this puppy 3 years ago, but now it is a very precious family member. Day 39. In Korea, there are 3 popular types of transport. There are many other types of transport, but if you live in Seoul, most people usually use these 3 types of transport for commuting: car, subway, and bus. I take the subway to work. It takes an hour from home to work, so I can get on the subway at 8 o'clock at the latest. My work is near Gangnam Station on Line 2. There are many companies around Gangnam Station, so the subway is always crowded and busy. However, it is a very convenient form of transport. On the other hand, my colleague takes the bus to work. However, in rare cases, my colleagues and I take a taxi when we oversleep. Although the price is a bit higher, it is fast. Also, many people think that taking a cab is more comfortable than the subway. However, my favorite type of transport is my car. I usually take the subway to commute from home to work, but at the weekend, I use my car to get around. Since most people have cell phones, I don't need to know the roads to drive. I can use GPS. Day 40. I live in a small apartment in Seoul with my cat. As soon as you go into the apartment, you can see a sofa and my cat. The sofa is white. There is a bedroom and a kitchen next to the living room. There is a small table in the kitchen. In the bedroom, there's a bed and a wardrobe. The bed is on the left side of the room. The walls are decorated with a picture frame and a mirror. Since my favorite color is yellow, the blanket and curtains are yellow. There is also a flower pot in front of the window. I used to live in a studio apartment, but now I live in a bigger place. Compared to the studio that I used to live in, this house is much more spacious and comfortable. I plan to live here for more than 2 years. There is an old lady who lives next door. She is about 10 years older than me. She works at a bank across from our apartment building. Whenever we see each other in the elevator, we always say, "Hi." There's a subway station in my neighborhood, so it's convenient to take public transport. There are banks, flower shops, and supermarkets across from the apartment, and a hospital next to it. There is a gym behind the apartment, so it's a great place to live. I really like my neighborhood. Day 43. In my spare time, I often go to the movies with my wife. My favorite hobby is watching movies. Koreans love watching movies, so the movie theaters are always crowded. I watch more than one movie a month. I usually watch movies at the cinema or on Netflix. My favorite genre is human drama, like Good Will Hunting or Forrest Gump. I like to understand the situation of the main character and enjoy empathizing with their feelings. I also learn lessons from this kind of movie. On the other hand, I don't like sci-fi movies or blockbusters. If there were only sci-fi movies to watch, I would still rather not watch them because I hate loud and provocative things. The best movie I've ever seen is La La Land. I still remember how La La Land made me feel. The main actors in the film are Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. The two actors' performances were impressive. La La Land is an excellent movie with a great plot and soundtrack. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend watching it. Day 44. To be honest, I don't enjoy cooking. But after work, I usually cook dinner. The food that they serve in restaurants is sometimes too salty or too spicy, so I cook for my health. I like Korean food, but sometimes I also cook Western food like pasta or steak. Making pasta is simple, so beginners can cook it easily. Yesterday, I grilled steak for a friend who I invited to my house. I bought beef tenderloin at a supermarket 5 minutes away from my house. I already had olive oil, herbs, and garlic at home. My friend enjoyed it. The dish that I cook most often is sundubu jjigae. Sundubu jjigae is a traditional Korean dish. I like tofu that is softer than regular tofu. There is a way to boil it without spices, but I enjoy eating it spicy with red pepper powder and green onions. It's not an easy dish to cook, but it is delicious. Day 45. I used to enjoy watching dramas on TV, but I don't anymore. Last year, I watched dramas during most of my spare time, but now I don't have time to watch dramas every day. However, my sister watches dramas every evening. The most exciting drama I have ever seen is called Gyeongbokgung. The main characters are 3 women in their 30s, and they all work at a search engine company. The story covers their daily lives and romances at the company. I like the actress called Im Soo-jung who starred in this drama. I actually have not watched any dramas recently. The most recent drama that I watched is a historical drama. I especially like historical dramas because I can learn about historical characters through the dramas. Interestingly, this drama dealt with the Goryeo dynasty, not the Joseon dynasty. The Goryeo dynasty is less famous than the Joseon dynasty, but the drama was fascinating. It was a historically useful drama. I love the actor who is the main character in this drama. He is a very experienced actor with a long career. He is very good at acting. His wife in real life is also an actress. So one day, I want to watch a drama where the couple appears together. Day 46. Everyone has at least one sport that they like. I especially like baseball. I don't play baseball. I like to watch baseball games because I used to watch them with my family when I was young. The baseball stadium is a fun place to be because while you are watching baseball, you can eat delicious food and cheer with your family at the same time. Baseball is a very popular sport in Korea. There are 10 teams, and they compete with one another from spring till fall. The pitcher is the player who gets the most attention in baseball. There are many famous pitchers in Korea. Ryu Hyun-jin and Kim Kwang-hyun have advanced to play Major League Baseball in the United States. I'm a big fan of those two. Of all the Korean teams, SK Wyverns is my favorite. The 2008 Beijing Olympics was the reason I started to watch baseball. I loved Kim Kwang-hyun, who was a player at that time. He is a tall pitcher who throws the ball fast. Another good thing about the SK Wyverns is that their home stadium is near Incheon. In my spare time, I watch old baseball games on YouTube or the fun videos that SK Wyverns post. Day 47. Since I was young, I have always been interested in music. I started learning to play the violin when I was 8 years old, and I then became interested in music. Since then, I always listen to music whenever I get stressed or I'm feeling down. I still enjoy music a lot, and I go to pop or classical concerts about 3 times a year. Most of the time, I go alone, but sometimes I go with my friends. I enjoy listening to dance music. I like it because it is not only fun to listen to, but it is also fun to watch the dance moves. When I was young, I took dance classes, but I don't anymore. At that time, my dream was to become a singer. If I had continued to dance and sing, I might have become a singer. I love Song Ga-in these days. She is a musician who sings trot, which is traditional Korean music. She won first place on a TV show called Miss Trot. I don't like trot, but she is good at singing and great at performing. So next month, I am going to go see Song Ga-in in concert with my friend. I would like to introduce Song Ga-in's songs to my friend who does not know her music. I also recommend you listen to her music.
Day 50. My last year in high school is very memorable because of my first love. I had a boyfriend for the first time in high school. My first love was my classmate who was sitting behind me. He was short, but he was taller than me. And at that time, he wore glasses. I really enjoyed the year that I spent with him. He and I loved watching movies, so we went to the movie theater together on weekends. He liked horror movies and I liked animations. Our most memorable date was visiting the botanical garden. I saw pretty flowers, lush trees, and plants that were usually hard to see. My boyfriend bought me a beautiful carnation pot as a gift there. He was a lovely and caring person. Unfortunately, after we started college, we drifted apart because he moved to Busan. However, we still contact each other occasionally. At last year's high school reunion, we met up in person. I was surprised by how much he had changed. He said he owns a small restaurant in Busan. So if I get the chance to travel to Busan, I would like to visit his restaurant. Day 51. I have written down 10 things on my bucket list that I really want to do before I die. Traveling to Greece with my parents is top of my bucket list. My parents liked the TV show Grandfather Over Flowers, which is about a grandfather's trip to Greece. After seeing how much my parents liked the show, I decided I want to take my parents to Greece. The second thing on my bucket list is learning yoga. My friend who likes yoga said, "I think you should do yoga because you're not flexible." Yoga makes the body flexible, but it also calms your mind, so I really want to learn. The third thing on my bucket list is having a dog. I love dogs, but my parents don't like them, so I can't have one at home. If I become independent, I will get a dog. I might be able to cross this off my bucket list soon. I am being transferred to a city far from where I live now, and I am going to live on my own. My parents feel sad about that, but I am excited to live by myself. A dog needs to go for a walk at least once a day. After I leave home, I will take my dog for a walk every morning for 30 minutes. Day 52. My first trip to New York was the happiest time in my life. I met wonderful people during that time. After I graduated from university, the professor who taught me told me, "I think it would be good for you to travel abroad by yourself." After his advice, I booked a flight to New York. At my happiest time, I was with my roommate Carrie. Carrie is the first friend I met while I was there. She was the same age as me. She is American. She was studying architecture at Harvard University. So when she went to see amazing architecture, she brought me with her. The most memorable moment was when I went to the New York Art Museum. It was a place introduced to me by Carrie. If Carrie had not been there, I would never have found out about the museum. The sun shone through the art museum, and I was really happy looking at the beautiful paintings. I had a fantastic time in New York. Sometimes I look at the photos I took during that time with fond memories. So the place I want to visit is definitely New York. Even after 5 years, if I got to go to New York now, I think I would experience a different kind of happiness. Day 53. The hardest time of my life was when I broke up with my first boyfriend. At that time, it was so hard that I wanted to die. It happened 8 years ago, but it is still sad to think about it now. It was so hard that I ended up drinking every day. My friend suggested that I go see a doctor. That's how much I was suffering. He broke up with me totally out of the blue. Even the day before we broke up, we seemed happy together. We went to a well-known restaurant together and had a good meal, which made his words even more shocking. He said that his situation was so painful that he could no longer see me. It was shocking and extremely stressful. It was even harder than the time I got fired suddenly from my job. Daily life became a little easier, but in fact, I still couldn't overcome the pain that I felt. I don't want to feel that kind of pain ever again. Day 54. I got married last year. We had our ceremony at an outdoor wedding venue near Yangjae Station. Fortunately, the weather was good that day, so the wedding went smoothly. My best friend from high school was the MC for my wedding, and my husband's friend sang a wedding song. Everyone enjoyed it. My husband and I met by chance on a flight to England, where my husband was sitting next to me. To my surprise, while travelling in England, I came across my husband in front of Buckingham Palace. Romance started to blossom, and we had dinner together. After that, we kept in touch and eventually became a couple. I still enjoy looking back on those memories. He proposed on Christmas Eve the year before our wedding. Although he didn't make a special event, he gave me an engagement ring, a bouquet of flowers, and a heartfelt letter. Unfortunately for him, I was not surprised at all. Anyway, that Christmas Eve was one of the happiest moments of my life. My husband and I are very happy these days. I am always grateful to my husband for being so happy to marry me. It is not long since I got married, so we do not have any children. I am not sure, but we might have a child next year. Day 57. First of all, I would like to talk about my home country, Korea. I was born in Incheon, which is where Korea's main international airport is located. But now I live in Seoul, the capital of Korea. If you like fast pace and convenience, Korea is a perfect country for you. Korea is a very advanced country in the IT industry, so in terms of computers and the internet, you can do everything quickly. I am very proud of my country. Do you remember the first time you had Korean food? Some examples of Korean traditional food are bibimbap, bulgogi, and kimchi. Fusion food such as cheesy chicken ribs is also very popular among foreigners. In Korea, because of the different weather and the geographic characteristics of each region, the food also varies from one area to another. The food in Seoul and Gyeonggi-do, which are in the north, is standard, whereas the food in Jeollado and Gyeongsang-do in the south is saltier and spicier. If you have more extreme taste, you will enjoy the food in Jeollado and Gyeongsang-do. Korean music, movies, and dramas are also trendy, BTS, a boy band which is popular worldwide, is Korean. The film Parasite, which recently won the Academy Award for Best Movie, is also from Korea. Thanks to the Korean wave, Korea has become more well-known in many foreign countries. As a Korean who enjoys watching Korean movies and dramas, I am very proud of this. I would also like to recommend Korean movies to you. I would also like to tell you about Bukchon, which is a tourist spot in Korea. It is a hanok village in Seoul, and it is really lovely to see the high buildings and traditional hanoks coexist. You can feel the emotions of Korea. There are many restaurants, so it is a must-visit destination. It is also a good place for a walk or to go on a date. Day 58. Do you know the difference between South and North Korea? Korea is the only country separated in the world, divided into South and North Korea. North Korea's capital is Pyongyang, and its leader is Kim Jong-un. There have been 3 dictators, Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un. Because North Korea is not a democratic country, the people are not able to elect a president. So it is very different from South Korea in politics, the economy, and culture. North Korea is far less advanced than South Korea. Many people are engaged in agriculture, and many people still wear hanbok. Since I have never been there before, I learned about it all through the media. But I heard that few families have a TV or computer. On the internet, I saw a photo taken by a foreign photographer in North Korea. The road was wide, but there were very few cars. Apparently, the latest cultural things are not widespread. South Korean citizens cannot go to North Korea. Around 20 years ago, it was possible to come and go between the two Koreas, so I went on a tour of Mount Gyeongbokgung. I hope that the relationship will get better soon. North Korea has a lot of energy resources, so it has a very high potential for development. There are also many historical sites in North Korea. Of course, there is very little chance of unification. First of all, the gap is already too big. In addition, things are very complicated because there are many countries related to this matter, including the United States, Russia, China, and Japan. However, I hope that one day the two Koreas will get reunified. Day 59. Seoul is the capital of Korea and the most developed metropolitan city. Seoul is also my hometown. I was born in Seoul and have lived here all my life. Seoul is a perfect place to live. The public transport system is well developed, so you can go anywhere in Seoul by subway. The subway fares are also cheap compared to other big cities, such as Tokyo and New York. Since it is a city where you can see the culture of Korea in the shortest time, I highly recommend sightseeing in Seoul. Of all the tourist spots in Seoul, Insadong is the best place to experience Korean traditional culture. Insadong is in the heart of the city, yet it is a place where Korean tradition remains. You can find traditional tea houses, restaurants, and artwork there. In fact, many foreigners often visit there. They also have foreign language guided tours, so if you are not good at Korean, I would like to especially recommend it to you. It's an excellent place to buy souvenirs for family and friends. The next place I want to tell you about is the area around Hongdae. Hongdae is an abbreviation of Hongik University. There are many good restaurants, and there are also many unique cafes. You can enjoy delicious cakes and sweet desserts, such as shaved ice and bread. Some bands and dance groups perform on the street, so you can feel the young vibe of Korea. One of the places I'm most proud of is the Han River. The Han River runs through Seoul and is wide enough to be seen from any big city. The scenery of Seoul, where the broad Han River, tall buildings, hammocks and mountains coexist, is breathtaking and impressive. Day 60. Gyeongbokgung Palace is an iconic historical and tourist attraction in Korea. I think if you get a chance to visit Seoul, you have to visit there. It is such a beautiful and impressive tourist destination. If you are interested in history, you will love it. If you can only go to one place, I strongly recommend you visit this palace. It is right in the middle of the city, so it is very easy to get there on public transport. If you have ever been to Korea, you may have passed the main gate of Gyeongbokgung. The main entrance of Gyeongbokgung is Gwanghwamun. When you walk through Gwanghwamun, you can see the palace where you can get a feel for the Joseon dynasty. Gyeongbokgung is not only a beautiful place, but also elegant. This is because the Joseon dynasty was built around Confucianism, so Gyeongbokgung was built in a simple style compared to other palaces. But that's why it feels more elegant. When you walk through the palace, you may feel at peace. You can also feel the charm of Gyeongbokgung at night. It is open at night during certain times of the year, although reservations are required in advance and time slots are limited. Gyeongbokgung is more romantic at night. I went to Gyeongbokgung at night with my boyfriend, and I was so impressed. I recommend visiting at night if possible. Seeing Gyeongbokgung is even more exciting when you know the history of Korea. I'm reading a book about the history of the Joseon dynasty, and because of that, I like the palace even more. It showcases Korea's unique beauty and history. Day 61. I have been studying English conversation since last summer. Speaking English fluently is one of the things that has been on my bucket list for the longest. When I couldn't give directions to a foreigner, I was so embarrassed. When I had a job with foreign buyers at work, I was always nervous and frustrated. I didn't like that, so I started studying English. Now I'm studying English, dreaming of talking to foreigners confidently. I speak English with a person I met on the internet. An English study site matched people to study together. I speak to a person who works for a fashion company for 2 hours a day. When he asks a question, I answer it, and when I ask a question, he answers my question. Studying with colleagues is much more effective, and I enjoy it much more. If I had studied alone, I would not have studied so hard. On weekends, I go to English school. I wake up early in the morning and go to an English school near Gangnam Station. The teacher teaches grammar. Every time I take a grammar lesson, I feel that English is not easy, but it is also fun. When you get home from class, you should review the lessons you learned that day and practice hard by yourself. Next Saturday, we plan to do a level test once again. Foreign teachers conduct the level tests. It's been 6 months since I started studying English hard. I can't wait to see how much my English has improved. Studying English conversation is difficult, but it is enjoyable.